Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very special edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. The reason why it's a very special edition of this podcast is twofold. One, this is the 200th episode of our show, so thank you so much to all of my guests who have appeared and all the PR people who've trusted me over the years. I really appreciate it. And thank you all so much for watching and for listening. And also, this is the episode 200 and a 30th anniversary of the show. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very honored and thrilled. Every year, I try to bring on someone who has been a very important part of my brand. And I'm very blessed that this is this incredible woman to the right of my right is the guest for this momentous occasion. She is the president of Impact PR. Her clients have appeared in Billboard, Forbes, the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, People, and the Rolling Stone. And more importantly, her clients have appeared on my platform for not just my blog, jake-jake.com, and this podcast for over a decade. So please help me welcome the fabulous Beatrice Kimmel to the podcast.
What an intro, Jacob. Thank you so much. This is, first of all, I want to say congratulations on 200 episodes. That is no small feat. And the fact that you've interviewed, just amazing guests. What a range, and what a number. And you are just such a joy to work with. And I've loved every moment that I've worked with you. And congratulations.
Thank you so much, B. I really appreciate it. So I want to return the favor to you because you've been so grateful. And thank you so much for trusting my brand for the past 11 years. I can't believe we've known each other for a decade.
I know time has flown, and Jacob, you're just getting better and better. You're just killing it on this podcast. So congratulations again.
Thank you. And you've been killing it with all the clients you've introduced and you've worked with for over the years. Those are some incredible clients and brands that are very lucky to have worked with you.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I feel really blessed. I came into PR by kind of accident. I didn't even know what publicity was, until I was in it. And, I came from a music background. And, and I just kind of, I was like, well, I wasn't going to do music professionally. It was clear to me. And I thought, well, let me try to do something in, maybe the business side. And I thought, well, marketing is very creative. So I started off doing marketing for the New Jersey Symphony right out of grad school. And then that kind of like evolved into working for marketing agencies in the city. And then I started dabbling in PR while working with a client. It was actually a church. And again, I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to try to, email these people. Lo and behold, they got back, did a stories on it. And I thought, okay, this is easy. PR, like, that's all you do. Like, you don't have to worry about, ad sizes and, graphics and all that. So, it just, like I said, it just kind of evolved. And eventually I found there was a job posting for an in-house PR person, in-house publicist for a music management company. And I was like, at this time I was so burned out of, looking at job postings. And I said, well, why not? I'm going to send an email. What could happen? 20 minutes later, I get an email back. They schedule an interview. I go in. A week later, they hired me. And I don't know how that happened. To be honest, they probably didn't have a lot of candidates at the time, but I thought, oh, this is going to be fun. I get to listen to music all day. All I do is email people, and it's going to be great. And it started off really well because this manager managed this amazing roster of artists, and some I still work with to this day or are still in contact with. And that was 15 years ago. And then from there, I started my own PR company, Absolute Pitch PR. I did that for 5 years. And I realized I don't like running the business part of it. So then I joined Gramophone Media, the company that I'm with now. That was 10 years ago. And it's such an amazing ride. And I feel so blessed. I think originally your initial question, I feel so blessed to have been doing PR for this long and in an industry that I really feel passionate about.
That's amazing. And it's amazing that our paths intertwine, especially with Gramophone. Guys, just let you know, Beatrice, during the early years of Jacob Elyachar, journalist, and the early years of Jake's Take, I would always get inundated with her clients, and I made sure to pick the right ones.
Yes. Yes, Jacob, you were always, I think, I remember when we initially started working together. I think I was working with the Kin at the time. Well, there were so many clients, I can't even remember. But you were just so professional, and you really were very thorough in your research, and your interviews were always very your questions were always very substantive. And so I would just I just love working with you. As soon as I get like a great client, I'm like, oh, gotta gotta reach out to Jacob.
And thank you so much for trusting my brand and trusting my professionalism to bring those clients. So I would love to learn how you look at select your clients, because the thing is, I always wondered that when we had our conversations, like, how do you select your clients?
Well, initially, when I started off, they would select me. Gosh, I can just tell you stories. I mean, when I first started off, I didn't start off interning for Universal Record, Universal Music, learning all the ropes from, some very seasoned PR professionals. I didn't have any of that training. I literally just learned it as I was going. And I made the right decision at the time. One of the few good decisions I made when I was starting my PR company, with partnering with a woman who was doing like a monthly showcase at a very popular Rockwood Music Hall. It's a big, now it's a 3-stage venue. At the time, it was a tiny 1-stage venue. And this was when I guess the early 2000s. And she literally just would just kind of stream like pipeline. I just had this steady pipeline of singer songwriters, giving me calls and saying, "Hey, I need PR." And literally I was just saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let's work together." I was just building my business. And you know and again, like I said, I was learning at the time. And I didn't have this huge network of media contacts either. So like literally brick by brick, I had to build this little network of mine. And eventually, yes. So and today I still get clients coming, but they're mostly through referrals, and also returning clients. So knock on wood, we're doing something right. And it's really more about, like, do they have enough content? That's really what it is. I mean, if and I'm perfect. I really enjoy working with indie artists, because it's like a clean slate. You're built. You can really see the fruit of your labor. Like, it's gratifying to see their careers building, and their followings building, and you really see the progress. And as opposed to like an established artist where they already got this huge following, but now it's getting to superstardom or international fame. And you've got to have a big funding behind that, to keep that machine going. So I guess, to go back to your question, yes, it's really more about the quality. And also, frankly, are they willing to be doing everything? Are they doing shows? Are they active? Are they doing social media? Are they recording new stuff? Not just letting the stuff that they released a year ago still try to squeeze juice out of that. So I just really look at all of that. And yeah, and and that's what I try to run with.
That's amazing. And like, here's the thing: your artists definitely have incredible content, and that's why I enjoy listening to it. And I also make sure, just to let everyone know, this is a little behind the scenes information. I also look at social media following as well to determine that. And sometimes I've overlooked taking out the social media following if you have a really strong voice, if you have a really strong music. And a lot of Beatrice's clients fall in that category because I place their music and I trust Beatrice's word and I trust her judgment when it comes to her clients.
Well, thank you. Yes. I guess that's also how my music background has really paid off. I can really appreciate the quality of somebody's music, whether it's their vocal or their instrumental arrangement, the song arrangement. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's really the content, it's the product itself that sells. I'm just kind of the one that connects them with the outlet, with the audience, essentially. And that's what's really going to push them forward. So I try to give as much guidance as possible where I can. If they don't know anything about how to distribute their music or how to promote themselves. I try to guide them as much as possible, and it's outlets. It's great media people like yourself, Jacob, that help me do that.
Thank you so much, B. I really appreciated that. I would love to learn the origin story of Impact PR. Can you share that with my audience?
Yeah. So, like I said, I started off, I had my own PR company, Absolute Pitch PR, 2007. And that was literally by the seat of my pants. And I did that for about 5 years. And Ishai Gazit, who is the owner of what is now Gramophone Media, reached out to me. I think it was through Facebook. And we had a lot of mutual friends, in the whole New York music scene. And he was looking for a publicist. We had a couple of conversations. And then I joined the company in 2012. And since then, I'm still under Gramophone. But what I did in the middle of that was I started my own division, and I wanted to do. I started as I was working with music clients. There were different clients that were doing other things, like they were writing books, or they were also into fashion, or they were they were doctors, or things like that. And I thought, well, that's a cool angle. Let's explore that. So there's always different angles that were starting to kind of branch off from the music. And I thought, well, let's do PR for those different types of clients. And I was getting referrals also from technology companies, restaurants, and photographers and whatnot. So I thought, I was just taking it all. I said, I love to challenge. Let's do it. The PR, the mechanics of it are the same. You kind of build your client list, find who is the best person to reach the audiences they're wanting to reach. And then you just give, you have to craft a pitch, write a press release. The mechanics are the same, but it's the specific people that you're reaching out to, and there's strategy involved, in terms of timing and how big do you go? Do you pitch, when do you pitch whom, that sort of thing. And so I just started my own company. I went to Ishai. I said, hey, can I start my own little division, have my own little branding? And then at the time we started off as Hyper, HYPR, Media. And that was in 2015. And we did a little launch, actually. Shaggy, musician Shaggy, Grammy winner, I loved him. He collaborated with everybody essentially. And he was one of the guest performers at our little soft launch for Hyper, which was super exciting. And then and off we were. And then eventually somebody said, hey, Hyper Media is our name. We can't use that. Yeah, so they reached out and sent us this whole cease and desist letter and all. And I said, okay, great. We have to rebrand. We have to think of a whole new name. And eventually came up with Impact, because I wanted to work with clients that made a positive impact in the world. And EMPKT is actually an acronym for experiential marketing and PR that connects with a K and transforms. And the K is because my last name begins with a K, Kimmel. So anyway, so all that to say is, yeah, we just branched off, but we're still under Gramophone Media, our parent company. And then we're also now part of our bigger company, which is Live One Media. They acquired Gramophone and us along with it last fall, about a year ago. So here we are today.
And I am so amazed to see how you've blossomed with impact. I was at when you guys 29. I was at their event in 2019, when before COVID, and it was Beatrice puts on the most incredible events. I met the most amazing people. I got to give one person in particular a shout out, because she would not be happy if I don't shout her out on this episode. Joanne Jaybird Phillips, one of the most creative women I have ever met, one of B's top clients. She is absolutely amazing. And I gotta give, and without B, I would have met her. So thank you. And
Yes.
We love you, Jaybird.
Yes, Jaybird. She is a dynamo. I don't know. She runs circles around me, and she is just amazing. Her energy, her enthusiasm, her knowledge about music. She's been performing for, almost 40 years with the same band around Long Island and New York City. And she runs a nonprofit organization. I don't know how she does it, but yes, but she is definitely, she actually, I feel like she's my publicist, because she promotes me as well. But yeah, she's wonderful. We love you, Joanne.
Thank you, Joanne. We already said, besides Joanne, who are some of the most memorable clients that you've worked with, and also, or some of the most memorable experiences that you've had working in the industry?
Oh gosh. So I've had the honor and pleasure to work with artists like Michael Bublé. When I had my own company, Wilson Phillips, they were promoting a holiday album at the time. That's always exciting, because they're big, they're a bigger name, and doors open much more easily, with their names. However, it's rare that, you get to actually meet the artist, because you're dealing more with the label, you're dealing with their manager, kind of 5 people deep, before even getting to the artist. Actually, I got to meet Wilson Phillips, the trio from the 90s. Hold On, everybody knows that song. They did a holiday album in 2010, and they were doing a big concert at Bryant Park in New York City. And I got to meet them backstage, and it was really fun. There's just really nice women, just so cool. They look amazing, they've been doing their thing for, now, I guess almost like 35, 40 years now. And that was really cool. I also had the pleasure of meeting John Oates from Hall & Oates. We worked with a wonderful client named Tina Schaefer. She is the vocal coach to the stars, that she's known. She's worked with Norah Jones and Avril Lavigne, and taught so many amazing, artists that, have gone on to be huge. And she puts on, without fail, it's a New York songwriter circle at the bitter end in New York City every month. And she curates it herself. I mean, this woman just pours her whole life and spirit into, supporting artists and recognizing really amazing talent, vocal talent, singer-songwriters. And she's had a number of our clients on her showcases. But this particular showcase, I think it was her 35th anniversary. And John Oates was on there. Billy Porter was performing. I'm escaping the names, but there was a number of other artists as well. Jenny Bruce, one of my clients, performed as well, and it was just an amazing experience. And John walks in, like any other singer-songwriter, had his guitar slung around his back. He came early, didn't have an entourage, didn't have a handler or anything like that. He just walked in. He was just kind of hung out, on the side. And as they were getting things ready, and I was like, that's John Oates. That's John Oates. That's so cool. And of course I didn't want to fan out to be a, nerd out or whatever, to ask him for his autograph or a picture or whatever. So I was just kind of waiting. I was like, maybe, get to take a selfie. And so as we were doing the red carpet interviews, I ushered him through, and finally I was kind of walking him back into the venue. And I said, do you mind if we take a selfie? And he was so cool. I mean, he was just so cool. It was like, yeah, Yeah, sure. And I wish I had, a better angle or whatever, because it was a little blurry because I was doing it so fast. I was nervous. But I was just so excited. But yeah, that was one of the more fun interesting stories that stand out. But I have I don't know, I have 1,000 stories I could tell you. I went on tour with one of my indie clients, that I start like one of the very first clients I had, the Kin, the Corin brothers, Isaac and Torald, amazing guys from Australia, gorgeous as well. I mean, like we've been friends for probably the 15 years that I've done PR, and they were starting out, and just gorgeous voices, amazing songwriters. I mean, just I can't even, like, the full package. And they were always on tour, and I would go on tour with them. I would just literally ride in the back of their van, just sending out my emails or whatever, and that was fun. It was just kind of like going to grassroots, kind of the thing, getting them in interviews, or going to DC, going to Sirius XM interviews with them, getting on morning shows, on TV morning shows. And so, yeah, those are always the fun days when you're seeing an artist that's starting out, and, they're just scrappy, they're just doing everything, grinding, and then they just rise and rise and rise. And like, that's the most gratifying to me.
That's incredible, B. That is so incredible. Those stories are fabulous. You may need to come back for episode 250 to do all those stories.
Oh, I'm sure I'll have more.
Alrighty, so earlier in my introduction, I mentioned that your team has landed clients in several prestigious media outlets, including Billboard and Forbes, the New York Times, and People. So what does it mean to you when you receive news that they will showcase your clients?
Oh gosh, I call it the publicist high. Well, you sit on your chair, you've been literally emailing, to your fingers are blue. You make phone calls. It's a pretty labor intensive job. I have to say, and I have, I shout out to all publicists out there, because no matter how long you've been doing it, no matter, even who your contacts are, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. If they can't fit it in, it could be timing, it could be, they just don't like them for whatever reason. It doesn't, not their taste. It's subjective. It's also, so many other variables, and you're just pounding your head against the wall trying to get press. And then you get that email. And you're like, oh my God, oh my God. You're doing the little publicist dance in your seat. I still do it. And it just means so much to me, because I know it means so much to them. And, especially, like I said, when you're working with an indie client, they're doing it all themselves, and they're just spending every dollar that they can to just get this off the ground, because it's their passion, and you just deliver for them. And it's just the most amazing feeling. And I think that's, it's an emotional thing. So I think that's what, like, kind of bonds, I bond with my clients, because it's like, we're in this together. Let's get this stuff. Let's get you out there together. Because, like, I believe in you, you're doing this, and let's just get there together. And that's what it means to me. It just means so much to just, believe in them, and show and get that result for them as a result of that belief.
Awesome. I gotta say, that is incredible, and that's amazing to hear that, and to learn the term publicist high, because I had never heard of that term before.
Well, I don't know if other publicists use it, but I like to use it all the time. I mean, literally, it's a shot of adrenaline. It's like, I mean, like, you've been, it could be the tiredest. You could be, like I said, like, working day in and day out, and then you're just ready to continue on. It's just like, great, let's just go on,
All right, so we got to start winding down our conversation. So your team has helped out countless artists, creatives, and brands over the years. In your humble opinion, because I know there might be some people listening to this that are in those positions, could you describe your ideal clients?
So, again, as I kind of, stated before, in terms of, they have to have a product. It can't just show up and say, make me famous. And then, it's just pulling, water out of a stone kind of thing. They have to be just as diligent and working along with you as I am. So, they have to be working on social media, doing, the kind of grassroots stuff, because if I'm pitching and those, like yourself are going to go to their social media and say, well, okay, what's their following? Is there an audience? What's the engagement? If they have only like 100 followers and, 0 posts, or, or their posts are getting like no likes at all, or 1 or 2 or whatever, then you're probably not gonna, you're not gonna want to feature them, because it's not really gonna appeal to your audience, and nobody's gonna come watch them. So it's definitely, the content is key, and that includes quality as well, of course. And again, there's a whole subjectivity to it. I mean, I've worked with, and it's not about, is this my type of music? Do I listen to this? It's really more like, I can tell, if it's a metal band, if it's a country band, if it's opera, if it's folk, rock, whatever. There's got to be some level of quality to it. And that's the first thing. The second thing is really, like I said, if they have to be open, they have to be open to doing interviews for, small blogs, big blogs, medium blogs, everything, because again, the more content that's out there that people are talking about you, the better. So all press is good press. And, it gets to the point, of course, when you're so big, then of course you start to weed out, okay, let's be a little bit more selective. But yeah, just quality, quantity, and being open.
Those are all very strong points, Beatrice. So here is my second to last question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
So if you have an advice for people who are in the publicity industry and are needing to find a new direction, or trying to rekindle that fire, because in our industry, it's very easy to burn out quick. So what advice do you have to refuel and re-energize?
So I would say, be as informed as possible. Like, don't do what I did. I just kind of jumped in, and then I was in the middle of doing it. I was realizing, wow, I really don't have these tools. This is what I, should have been doing all along. It's really about, if you're starting off, internships are really key. Go to where your dream job would be, and do research on that company too, because maybe you realize this isn't the type of company you want to work for whatever reason. Maybe they're not having the right clients that you like, or maybe the work environment isn't what you want to be in. So really do your research on the industry, on the companies that you want to work for, and then the ones that you find that you want to work for. After that research, work with them for free if you need to, in some capacity. Just, that way you really get to learn the ropes. I have had so many interns under myself, and I wish I had myself as starting off 20 years ago, because I really teach my interns really well. And I say, this is, they really know what a publicist does, after, 3 or 4 months. And so that is the most, I think, valuable thing you can do, is just really get the education in any capacity. And if this is something you do want to pursue, then you will have also, while you've been doing those internships, those contacts, and that'll kind of, push you forward. But yeah, first and foremost, definitely educate yourself.
Strong advice, guys. Please listen to it if you're considering not just working in media, but in any job in particular.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Last question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Where can they find information about Impact PR, and also where can they connect with you on social media?
So everything is Impact PR. It's EMPKT PR.com, @EMPKT on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me under Beatrice Kimmel. So There it is. Impact PR.
Awesome. So, guys, if you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our channels on Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spotify Speaker, and I'm so excited to share with you this, iHeartRadio.
Amazing. I see that. Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Thank you. It's Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And to find more interviews with these clients, head to the blog that started it all, jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. B, thank you so much for being on this third anniversary episode and episode 200. I'm so grateful for our friendship, and I'm so grateful that you trust me for almost a decade. I'm very grateful for our friendship.
I'm so grateful to you, Jacob. You deserve every accolade and praise that you receive. I'm just so proud of you because we've known each other. Like I said, I've seen you grow. I've seen you, you persevered and you really are passionate about what you do. And that I really, really appreciate everything you do for our clients and everything that you're doing for the world, basically. Thank you. And congratulations again.
Thank you so much, B. I really appreciate it. And guys, thank you so much for listening and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.